Alright, this is Trevor Benham again, and for my final presentation, I decided to talk about a commercial night cross-country trip. And I planned a trip from North Las Vegas to Reno. So going through our basic pre-flight checklist, we're gonna assume that the aircraft has all the required documents like the airworthiness and registration. First, we're going to dive into the I'm Safe checklist. So for a night cross-country flight, one of the main things you're really going to want to look into is fatigue. This could be especially important at night because doing a night flight, obviously your sleep schedule could be off. Did you wake up super early and you've been up all day and now you're getting ready for your flight and you're starting to feel tired? So you want to be able to recognize if you were able to get enough rest for the flight, or if you didn't, probably not a safe or a good idea to continue with this flight if you've been up all day and didn't get any rest. So we'll move into the PAVE checklist. For the pilot, specifically at night, we're going to need to be night current, which is going to be 3 takeoffs and landings in the past 90 days to a full stop. And that allows you to carry passengers at night. Also, for a commercial night flight, you're going to be an instrument rated pilot, which I have my instrument rating, so we're good to go on that. The aircraft, so it's going to have a couple more requirements than day VFR for night VFR. It's going to be your flames checklist. You're going to have fuses, landing light, anti-collision lights. That ensures that the aircraft has all the required equipment for a night flight. And everything else on the checklist is going to be pretty much the same as a day VFR flight. Those are the notable ones for specifically at night. So some of the night considerations we're going to want to take on this flight is fuel. So we have an increased fuel reserve requirement, 30 minutes. It's up from 30 minutes and it's 45 minutes at night. Me personally, on a night cross-country flight, I like to take an hour and 15 minutes extra fuel. Your altitude. So when flying at night, you're not going to be able to see terrain that well. And for VFR flights, we only need, and like mountainous terrain today, we would only need 500 feet of clearance to legally fly that route. But I believe that there's a reason that they require an instrument rating for commercially operated flights at night. And when flying in mountainous terrain on an instrument flight plan, you need 2,000 feet of obstacle clearance. So for me personally along this route, I chose an altitude that gave me 2,000 feet obstacle clearance along the whole route. Going into emergencies, the altitude also plays into this. So if you lose your engine and you're in mountainous terrain or unlit terrain, and this is going through the middle of the desert basically, so there's not going to be much light at all. So you're going to want that higher altitude to increase your glide distance to find a safe, suitable, hopefully well lit landing area. Because in the middle of the desert at night, you lose your engine, you're not going to be able to see the ground and what's on the ground. It's going to be very hard to find a suitable lit landing area for an emergency. So navigation at night, a lot of the times going through this commercial course, we practiced our pilotage navigation, and that's identifying landmarks at night. This can be very difficult at times and sometimes impossible to identify a landmark at night. During the day, lakes, dry lake beds are good pilotage waypoints. They're almost impossible to see on some nights. So we're going to want to rely more on our GPS or VOR and other things like that. So night vision, we're going to want to, before we take the flight, we want to start letting our eyes get adjusted. this usually takes about 30 minutes. You don't want to interrupt your vision with any bright lights, so head outside, get to the plane, and start letting your eyes adjust. Another thing we use to help keep our eyes in night vision is using red flashlights or headlamps. In the pre-flight, so I personally, if I'm going on a night cross country, I like to do a pre-flight during the daytime, if it's possible. Go out to the plane before the flight when you still have light. Do a very thorough pre-flight. And then this doesn't let you not do a pre-flight right before it, but then once it's time to fly, let your eyes adjust, get your night vision, and do another pre-flight right before the flight. So this is the route I chose for North Las Vegas to Reno. It's a fairly simple route. We're going to have some restricted areas we don't want to bust, and yeah, some mountainous terrain up towards the north that we're going to have some considerations with. So this is the first portion of the flight. North Las Vegas is right down here. As we depart, this I-95, it's really well lit. So pilotage is going to be a good way to navigate. Keep this 95 in sight. There's going to be cars going down it. It's a well lit highway. So that's one way. But also we have an airport at C5. We're going to have that in the GPS to help navigate as well. That's why I chose along the route many pilotage points. This Highway 95 runs almost all the way to Reno, but I'm backing it up with GPS waypoints and VORs. So up towards the end of the flight, see, our minimum safe sector altitudes are 11.7 here, 9.4 here. I chose this flight to be done at 10.5 because we needed an even plus 500, so we can't do 12.5 without oxygen. We don't have oxygen, so I chose 10.5. Along this route, that's going to give us a 2,000 foot obstacle clearance along the whole route. That's mainly because up towards here we have some 8,000 foot peaks we're going to be overflying. There are some higher peaks in these sectors that we're aware of, but we're not going to be anywhere near there as long as we stick to our flight plan. During this section, we're going to be using GPS waypoints, and it's two VORs connected. So we're going to be on a VOR radial and have the GPS waypoints in there backing us up, making sure we stay on course. And other than that, it should be a fairly smooth flight along the route. There's many great airports to divert to. And yeah, those are my considerations for a cross-country flight at night. Thank you.